Hi, my name is Megan. My pronouns are she, her, and we're going to do a quick 10-minute arms and upper body movement sequence. So you only need your mat. You can come into tabletop to start, and we're going to just warm up from the hands and the wrists all the way up into the shoulders. So in your tabletop, you can start by really stacking your bones, your shoulders over your wrists, your hips over your knees, and then feel into the natural curvature of your spine. So you might try to lengthen out a little bit through the crown of the head. You might notice if you're sort of dipping down through the navel, or if you tend to want to round up. Just try to find something in between. And we're going to actually just like move the spine a little bit to start. So you can start by just kind of wiggling. Imagine you're kind of wagging your tail, and then turn that into circles. I like to think of this as almost like a Nicki Minaj move or something. You're just going to kind of really circle it out. Reverse the direction, and then make it a little less circular. Just kind of move your ribs, move your hips. You're going to wiggle it out a little bit. It's just supposed to feel good. You're just kind of exploring all the different sticky spots in your body, in your shoulders, in your hips, and in your spine and your ribs. And then gently make your way back to center, to stability, and then feel into like almost this little external rotation. Imagine you're gripping something, the lid of your favorite food that comes in a jar, and trying to open it. Or you can imagine you're trying to wrap the inside of your elbows slightly forward, just so that you've got this like width across your shoulders in front. Lengthen out through your spine, and then circle, circle your shoulders around your wrists a couple of times, and then just reverse the direction of that circle. You might already start to feel a little fatigue in your wrists. This is a lot of flexion to start out with, and we're going to warm the wrists up a little bit. So coming back to center, imagine you're the most cat-like you've ever been, and start to like knead out your mat. And you can move your fingers in every direction, back towards your knees, out to the sides, and then start to explore all of the surfaces of your hands, the knuckles, the finger pads, the fingertips, the outer kind of fleshy part of your hand, the part right under your thumb, maybe even the backs of your hands if that feels okay for your wrists. So you're really going to try to cover every surface. And then once you feel like your hands are woken up and kind of massaged out a little bit, you can come back into your tabletop with your fingers spread as wide as you can get them. Sit your hips back towards your heels, almost like a child's pose, and start to tap your index finger. And as you're tapping your index finger, wrap the inside of your elbow forward and start to shift your shoulders back over your wrists. Keep tapping your index finger. It's really small, subtle. If you can't tap, you can always find a wiggle. Notice your elbows are going to want to start to bend and help you. Try to keep them locked out. Tap for 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then shift it back. Let's go into the middle finger. Same thing. Little taps. Shift your weight forward, back over your wrists. Try to find a tap or a wiggle in your finger. It's a lot more challenging than it looks. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Shift it back one more time. Hips over heels, ring finger. This is the one I like to call the humbler. Take it forward. Try to keep tapping or wiggling. If you're not actually finding movement in your finger, just really keep sending your intention into moving the finger. Go for 4, 3, 2, and then stay where you are. Lift your pinky and your thumb. Go for 5, 4, little taps. 3, 2, and 1. All 4 fingers on the floor. Lift your thumb, lift the heel of your hand. You might feel all your knuckles kind of crack and pop. Do that a few more times. And then all the way back down. Keep all of the full surface of your hand on the mat. Keep everything locked out. Just glide your shoulder blades together. This one is a little tricky at first if you're not used to it. Some people kind of want to go into like a cat-cow situation. Try to keep your spine nice and long so your core is on, you're lengthened out through the crown of your head, and you're really just squeezing your shoulder blades together and then pressing them apart. So it's really just gliding your scapula across your back, in and up. Retract and protract. For 4 and 3. So there's no bend in the elbows. It's not a push-up. It's really just kind of gliding. Last one. Press it up and hold. Curl your toes under. If this feels okay for your feet, you're going to try to hover your knees. If that's not working for you, you can try to do this with your toes down, or you can always place your feet onto something, a little mat or a cushion that you have. Hold for 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then lower it back down. Untuck your toes, sit onto your heels, and let's take the arms out wide. So we're going to take the arms as wide as they can go, longest wingspan you can find. Wiggle your fingers, really kind of like stretch out the hands, and then take the thumb to the outside of the fingernails, and imagine you're trying to flick water off your fingers, and you're just going to flick your hands. So flicking, 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 like you're trying to splash someone. Less of like a talking motion, more of like really a flicking. I don't have another word for that. Just keep going for 10, 9, 8, 7. You can move the arms if you need to. You're trying to create a lot of heat in your forearms right now. 4, 3, 2, and then shake it all off. So you can shake your arms in every direction. Take them back out wide. And this time, just find a bend in your elbows. So you're in this kind of goal post or cactus shape. You're going to squeeze your arms together and then open them back out wide. And we're not using weights for this sequence. You could do all of this with a light weight if you wanted to. But I like to use my own kind of mental resistance. It's a skill we've all been well endowed with. So creating resistance where there is none is something we're all quite skilled at. So here's where you get to put it to good use. Kind of move through something imaginary that is heavy or sticky or thick. 2 more like that. And then next time your arms are together, hold. Try to squeeze your forearms together if that's available, as close as you can get them, and then it's just a pulse up. So it's 8 and 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Open it back out wide. We're creating tons of heat in the shoulders already. You're going to rotate from the shoulder, right from the rotator cuff, so your forearms come parallel to the floor, and rotate it back up. I could have mentioned this earlier, but if you are not comfortable sitting on your heels, you can do this standing or kneeling or even sitting on a chair. So find what works for you. Just rotating forward and up. Last 2, and then pause on the next one. So arms forward, you're going to row as if you're rowing a boat. Squeeze your shoulder blades together without opening up through the ribs. So you're still trying to keep your core kind of supporting your spine, just moving through your shoulders, through your arms. Your elbows stay at shoulder height. Last one, and then pull this into like almost a little chicken wing move, like just up and down. Just up and down. Trying not to bring your shoulders up to your ears, even though that's sort of the instinct we all have. For 3, 2, 1, and then hold it down at the bottom. Just release your hands for a second. We're going to come up to tall kneeling, so just right up to your knees here. Track your tailbone down. If you were standing, you can stay standing for this. If your knees are getting sore, you can fold your mat over. We're just going to go for some circles with the arms. So you're going to try to do this keeping your ribs still, keeping them knit together in front. So you've got your tailbone tracking down. You're going for these big circles with your arms. And by now, you might be feeling a decent amount of heat in your shoulders. We're going to reverse the direction in 2 and 1, and just switch, go the other way. A little bit harder to keep your ribs knit together here. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Arms out wide, palms face up. Just go in, right hand over left, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Left hand over right, and then pick up the tempo a little bit. So you fly, open, stretch the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Arms all the way up overhead. Bring your palms to touch, knit your ribs together, bend your elbows back, and lift. So you're trying to keep your upper arms super still and steady here. Ribs together, tailbone down, core is on for 4, 3, 2, last 1, and then circle the arms down. You can come back into your tabletop. We're going to finish this off strong with 10 push-ups. I will show you 3 variations. One is going to be in a tabletop. Your hands are going to be right a little bit wider than your shoulders, and you're going to take your arms wide, but keeping the elbows still kind of coming in. So they're not out here. You're still trying to track them in towards your rib cage. The second one is going to be hips forward of knees. So tabletop, your hips are stacked over your knees. The second variation is in like a supported plank. Same thing. So down and up. The last version is in a tall plank. It's down and up. We're going for 10. So you find the one that works for you. You can change it up midway through if you want to. Whenever you are ready, big breath in, lower down, exhale to push. For 9, 8, 7, 6. Keep tracking your tailbone down towards your heels. For 4, 3, 2, last one, all the way up. Sit yourself back. You crushed it. Thank you for moving with me.